In the intricate web of life, everything is connected. Just as the natural world thrives on relationships between plants, animals, and their environment, so do urban environments, whether they're educational campuses, community hubs, neighborhoods, or cultural centers, also depend on a multitude of interconnected relationships. These relationships, though often unseen, are the lifeblood that sustain and nurture these ecosystems. So, understanding these relationships is not just important, is essential, as it allows us to see beyond individual components and recognize the complex interactions that contribute to the overall health and resilience of our social spaces. In fact, by focusing on nurturing these relationships, we can foster environments that are more vibrant, innovative, and sustainable. Thus, understanding relationship really is key, especially within an ecosystem, as they often determine its strength and functionality. Whether it's the collaboration between community members, flow of financial resources, or the exchange of ideas and services, these connections form the foundation of a thriving social ecosystem. Often, we overlook these relationships by focusing solely on individual initiatives or stakeholders and their roles. Yet, it is in the dynamics and in the interrelationships between initiatives and stakeholders that truly we can drive systemic and impactful change. And so when we recognize and leverage these relationships, it can lead to improved collaboration among stakeholders, enhanced innovation, because identifying and leveraging relationships can unlock new opportunities for creative solutions, and greater resilience, because understanding how different elements are interconnected makes our system, our ecosystem, more adaptable to changes and shocks. So let's imagine we're a community hub looking to drive greater social, economic, and environmental well-being through our initiatives. By using a tool like gigamapping, as suggested in system-oriented design by Sevelson, we can map out not only all stakeholders and activities involved, but also the relationships and their types. And this is a key point because most times we forget that, there isn't just one relationship. There are different types of relationship. None are the same. There are so many relationships out there. And in this video, we will briefly cover three types: structural relationships, causal relationships, and emotional relationships. So structural relationships are those relationships that form part of a structure. They're not based on cause and effect, but rather on how entities fit within a system. So in our community hub, consider the relationship between the various facilities, such as the library, the cafe, and the co-working spaces. They're structurally related as they form part of the hub's overall environment, but the presence of a library does not directly cause necessarily more people to use the co-working spaces, but together they create a holistic environment that attracts diverse users. And thus, understanding structural relations can help us better organize and optimize the framework within which entities operate, leading to better coordination and efficiency. The next are causal relationships. And these are cause and effect relationships where one entity directly affects another. So, for example, if the community hub introduces a new recycling program, this might lead to a decrease in waste generation within the hub. So the cause could be the recycling program and the effect, the reduction in waste generation. Similarly, offering free workshops on entrepreneurship could lead to an increase in the number of local startups. Now, I'm obviously simplifying here, but it's important to note that while these relationships can now show strong correlation, we must be careful to distinguish correlation from causation to avoid false assumptions. So recognizing causal relationships allows us to predict outcomes and better design interventions that can lead to desired changes, whether those are reducing waste or encouraging local entrepreneurship, like in this case. And finally, emotional relationships. These are relationships driven by emotional connections such as trust, respect, and shared values. So in our community hub, it could be the bond between regular attendees of community events and the staff who organize them. This emotional connection fosters a sense of belonging and loyalty, encouraging continuous engagement and participation. And so knowing how to foster meaningful emotional relations can lead to a more cohesive and supportive community, where members are more likely to collaborate, support each other, and come to the space itself. So finally, by understanding and leveraging different types of relationships, social spaces can foster interconnectedness and mutual support, driving greater social well-being, environmental awareness, and responsible economic activity. This approach not only addresses immediate needs, but also builds resilient and adaptive environments capable of thriving in the face of any challenge. And so incorporating concepts such as structural, causal, and emotional relationships into the design and management of our ecosystems allows us to drive better individual outcomes, strengthen the quality of those relationships, but also empower the ecosystem as a whole. This interconnectedness enables us to create vibrant, regenerative, and evolutionary human ecosystems that are more than the sum of its parts. And so, to help you better understand the types of relationships that exist within your ecosystem, I've created a small list where you can find the key relationships you can focus on. Simply enter your details and receive the list. Innovate locally, impact globally. Together.